Really? A journey as his servants.
Big, bad, deep stick. Full master.
Big brother.
What do sex? Luke hands.
Yeah.
Hello everybody, my name is Notepad Add-on and I write games for fun, so what are we doing today? Well, today we're going to be working on Gachimuchi Super Smashers, and as you can tell by the funny little hashtag I have in the title, as well as the introduction, it's a Notepad Must Die. Yes, Notepad Must Die. That means we're going till it's finished, or at least I get to where I want to be. Generally speaking, Gachimuchi Super Smashers has been one of those games. It's been one of those games. One of the ones where I stare at constantly and die a little on the inside every single moment I look at it. You may be wondering, why, Notepad? Why do you die a little bit on the inside every time you look at it? And the answer is pretty simple. I don't know how to make it better. It's one of those weird moments where I look at a game and I just debate of what's the right way of doing this, and I realize that there isn't a right way. There's just various shades of wrong. And hopefully I can get it at least, my goal anyway, is to get it at least into a place where I feel relatively comfortable with. And by relatively comfortable, I do mean I want to get it to a place where it's like, okay, this is at least somewhat working of what I envisioned originally. This is going to be remix fodder, though. I will say that. This is going to be redux fodder, very much so. Because I feel like there is an answer. There has to be an answer to some of the bigger issues. And if I get it done today, I'll kind of go over what those issues are. But generally speaking, we don't actually have that much left to do. Hence why we're doing it a Notepad Must Die. But if we kind of take a look, God damn it, what? People are losing their mind over Fire Emblem in my chat as usual. You know, glorious Fire Emblem. Generally speaking, though, all we need to do is actions, objects, goons, fiends, and villains. And then finally, I got your back. I'm with you, brother. But what does this actually kind of entail? What this entails more than anything is, once we get done with this section, we're pretty much done. There isn't really much else to do. There's a few cases for that, but I'm feeling all right. Feeling okay. Feeling all right. The I don't know how long this is going to be. This could be 3 hours. This could be 5 hours. I don't know. We're going to try to finish it up. But last time I was kind of having some emotional revelation about the nature of actions. Because the basic idea for actions, and as you can kind of see here, I have actually fixed up the ring a little bit. Now, out of the ring, inner ring, center, inner ring, outer ring, what comes to that, and the king of the ring, being in the center of the ring, being in the center of the fight, having some benefits and some major drawbacks. One of the ideas, though, is what I want to do anyway, is that you are going to be building up a combat pool. That combat pool is going to be your amount of dice that you have to play with for your action. So anytime you're doing something, you're going to be building up a certain amount of dice, and then you can distribute those freely. The catch being is, there's no real major benefit for rapidly exceeding something. So you have to make a bet a lot of the time. You think, okay, the enemy is going to have 2d6, I am only going to dedicate 3d6. Maybe want to say, hey, I'm going to dedicate 4d6 to this. I'm feeling pretty confident about dedicating 4d6. Going excessive doesn't mean you get a bonus or anything, it just means you've done it. So if you want to do 2 attacks, you're going to have to do it 2 times. This is where paying it forward comes in a little bit, because you can either redistribute that dice to your other rolls that you've kind of planned out in advance, being like, okay, I want to spend 3 dice attacking you. Oh, I rolled double 6s, I can move those 2 dice to do something else. Or you can pay it forward to another person and build up their pool so that they have more. The general idea is using that base amount of dice, that base, those initial resources to their fullest effect. With one of the advantages being that characters going later in the round might have multiple things getting paid forward to them. You might have 4 dice getting paid forward to you. You may say, okay, hey, you have 4d6 being just moved forward to you, that's your thing, and plus whatever you do. So even if you're not very strong in something, you still have a dice for it. Pretty simple, with the idea being like you just need to hit over whatever they are. So an enemy might have a 2d6 for their defense. So it's like, okay, do I just want to roll 2d6, or do I want to risk play it safer and bet more of my dice, but I'm preventing future actions? But, this is the big thing too, those dice you have are also kind of fallible in a way. Is that you can burn them to do things. It's like, okay, hey, I need to do something. I'm using this to do a thing. So that's where I've been kind of stuck on. It's not complicated. It's just a little bit of wonkiness. The wonkiness is what we do best here. Do you not agree? People are legitimately just losing their fucking minds over goddamn Fire Emblem Engage, and how, even though people have told them repeatedly, hey, there's a VTuber designer who designed all the characters in Engage, they're like, oh my god, the guy who does VTubers did this. I'm like, yep, that's how that works. But we're also dealing with our strongest warrior, otherwise known as Jort, who has the attention span of a gnat. Love you, King. We got our turn of orders. I initially elect one of their side to build their pool and take actions. So yeah, when it comes to these, my idea anyway is pretty simple. Is you are going to have, when you say, hey, I wanted to take my macho dice, so you might have 4 macho dice. And then I'm going to take my strike dice, and that's going to be my combat pool. I'm striking this turn. However, if I hit somebody with, if I hit them, do damage to them, it's going to be dependent on this. It's kind of like the idea of being like, this is your combat move, whatever. So the idea here would be looking more something like, hey, you have a strike damage of like 2. By virtue of being in the macho action, you're only going to do 2 damage, and you're only going to do like, and you're going to only do like one wrestling damage, something. That's kind of the basic idea. With the idea being like, hey, you want to pull off a stunt for this? Like, if you want to pull out stunts, it's, you know, like posing, flexing, intimidation, etc. Like, that's kind of the idea I have, but that idea is also very fallible in its own beautiful ways. But pretty much what it wants to be is, striking is your raw damage. That's you swinging up there and me doing a haymaker on you. That's, I'm going to hurt you. This is my goal. This is the ambition of my life, is to break your fucking nose. However, wrestling, on the other hand, is all about doing stamina damage. It's all about, you know, setting an enemy up to kind of harm them in their own way. That's kind of the way of doing things. So this would be more along the line of like heart and stamina damage would be, you know, wrestling an enemy is going to do stamina damage, which is going to allow you to punish them. Stunts, because the idea behind stunts are pretty simple. It's just things that you can do that aren't necessarily, not everybody find themselves needing to perform dangerous acts of heroism. It's just doing something that's going to influence the fight. You're probably going to be making a stunt. Luca talking about the good old Sword World case. See, that was my issue with Sword World at the end of the day, was that the game is too well put together. There's nothing really, it's hard to talk about anything with Sword World simply because it's just so well put together that there's nothing much for me to talk about. So if we do something like this, let's select you to distribute. Actually, let's just distribute you all like this, and then we select you. Maybe we do something like that. There we go. I think that looks pretty. I think that looks nice. Just kind of like a very controlled. So if we want the idea that like mask is consistent, you're just doing that. Maybe we do something like this. So macho is your ability, that's you expressing yourself a little bit more, and that's going to be heavier on stunts. So if we do that, this is intimidation, personality. And raw bravado. However, if we do the idea of mask is mask isn't really going to be doing a lot of, if we do we do something like this. These are your base. These are kind of the ones you're not really supposed to be using all that frequently. However, if we do it down here like this, that mobility is going to do things more consistently. Okay, no, let's think about it like this. So, Macho is going to get their own set of actions. I guess we're going to have to write in our own set of actions down here, but maybe we just get rid of these. The issue I've been having with this is the idea that's like, muscle is just best. There's no reason to not just take muscle. Like, muscles being for, I mean, that makes sense. I mean, it's a fucking game about muscular men fighting each other. But it's also like, I need to make this entertaining to play, and this is, it's like, yeah, there's one build. Just put a 4 in your muscle and go for it. And it's like, oh, fuck. Right. Because it makes sense. I mean, I think that's the divine comedy of the matter. I mean, like, it makes the absolute amount of sense. Like, this is your raw physical nature. This is a game about being physical. This is a game about beating the shit out of your enemies. So what do you do in this kind of game? You beat the shit out of your enemies. You find a guy, you punch a guy, that's it. That's the perpetual joke, you could say. Like that's the perpetual joke. So I mean, if we do unless you give them like different actions, because again, since we're building a combat pool, we need to effectively say, hey, this is it, unless we give everybody like a combat stat. Like, unless we legitimately just say, you just don't apply something here, but then that doesn't make any sense in the grand scheme of things. That's kind of the issue there, is that it stops making any sense, because it's like, oh, well, you have a stat called muscle, therefore you must have muscle. The idea works, it's just pulling it all fucking together. Unless you just take out certain things, like that's the I would say the dichotomy almost is by virtue of being, you know, having that, because like at its absolute core is, it would be something more like this. If we just keep it like this, keep the front end and nothing else, it would be, you know, they choose their approach and one personal quality to build their initial combat pool. This combat pool can be spent on a number of actions, splitting up the dice to multiple foes, and even used for one grand slam of a hit. Depending on they may be able to add a crime fighting quality as well, highlighting the combination of ability and skill to one struggle. I mean, unless we... Would that be okay, though? Like, you may not be super strong, but you're smart in everything else, so you want to not possibly be that way. So it would be, pretty much it would be like the idea of being like, when a hero is, when distributing their dice, the hero will make a choice on whether they are going to be striking or wrestling this turn. When the hero is striking, they will. The hero is striking, they will. When the hero is striking, they will deal direct heart, direct injury to the heart of the enemy, enemy with the intent of downing them with a flurry of punches and kicks. If a hero is wrestling, then instead they are attempting. Let's see, but instead they are attempting to chew away. Hello, extremely loud car. If a hero is wrestling, they are instead attempting to chew away the stamina of their opponent. Chew away the stamina of their opponent. They are attempting to chew away the stamina of their opponent to leave them open for an attack. So it's kind of like one of those ideas of being like acting first has its benefits, but acting later, unless we say like depending on what it is like you. One other option, this is a little bit of a cursed option if we think about it. If we say like depending on whatever you do, you just get a different bonus effectively for like what you plan on doing. So you kind of get the idea here. So it would be less damage wise, but how would we determine damage then? Unless we just say like everybody has the same damage. So it would be something more along the idea of, hey, I'm taking, Macho. Let's say Macho, for example. By virtue of saying, hey, I'm going to do a Macho plus strike. All attacks deal, muscle, actually deal like mask plus macho. All strikes deal macho damage. Wrestling deals, let's see, macho strain. Let's see, strikes deal macho damage, wrestling deals macho strain. But each one has like a gimmick or something. So it's kind of like the idea of if you're using macho, like may pay forward fives and sixes. So it's kind of like you're not doing like a lot of damage with Macho. You're just paying forward dice a lot more. So it's like, hey, you're not doing a lot here, but you're just paying dice forward. So that's kind of like the gimmick with it. So it would be like, we do it like this. You may pays forward fives and sixes. So that means at least like you're getting a lot of stuff out of it by virtue of doing that. Maybe we deal like mask would be strikes deal mask. Actually, let's see. Some strikes, if I can fucking sell strikes deal mask. Mask damage. Wrestling deals muscle damage. May add additional die regardless of, may add additional die to, may add plus 1d. May add plus 1d due to their heroic nature. So you're just getting a larger pool by default. Not a lot, it's not a massive one. Actually, it would be even like mask. So if you're masking, like you're going to be doing like, you can potentially, you're not doing a lot, but you're just getting more dice to fuck around with. So if you're being like a very specific kind of hero, if you want to do that. While on the other hand, if we're doing like mobility, it would be strikes deal mobility plus. Wrestling deals muscle. Actually, if you want to do this right, muscle minus 2 damage, wrestling deals muscle minus 1 damage, increase the range, actually may make a movement without having to spend dice. They make a single movement. So it's kind of like the idea of taking mobility would be you're sacrificing damage, but you're able to keep your pool to like move forward. So it's like, oh hey, I don't have to like burn. Let's say I have like let's say I have 5 dice right off the bat. So it's not like, okay, I'm gonna burn a dice to move 1 space, then I'm gonna be able to do something. It's like you can just move for free, but you're not gonna be doing as much damage. Like you are clearly kind of at a disadvantage there. So if we want to do the strikes deal muscle plus 1 damage, wrestling. It's a strike deal. Strike deals. If we want to keep the no strike deals. Strike wrestling deal. Wrestling deals. There we go. Strike deals. Muscle. Plus 1 strain. I guess we can make it the idea of being like they don't get any bonuses by virtue of having this. That could be one. Like you don't get any bonuses, but for using muscle because it's just there. What in the fuck is going on in here? I look back at my chat and I just see sadness. Man, like what is now they're just posting cats. They're just posting cats now. I see how this chat goes. Why? Why are you the way that you are? Why are you all the way that you are? Like so I guess their bonus would be there we go. Can only split their combat pool in half. So that's kind of the bonus slash drawback of doing strict muscle is that you can't really split. You aren't being able to split your combat pool a lot more between different enemies. You're going in all in on one. So you're trying to go for that bonus there. Actually, we can do mobility. We can do mobility damage while wrestling. You're all being a mysterious man means you're gonna go all for strain, which is the hero's pays forward any ones they roll. So yeah, mystery is all about, hey, I can pay forward even my failures. But even if you're not super strong, you still want to do things that are like beneficial to the team. So strike deals. I mean, if we think this is correct, I mean, I don't. Is there any that is like blatantly like this is just the best thing ever and you should never do anything else, and if you do anything else you're fucking stupid? See, that's always the thing with these games. It's like, where is the thing that breaks it? Like, where is the broken thing? I must find it and must figure out how to mitigate it as much as possible. So if we do this idea, if we have all of this, so it's kind of like saying, hey, macho actions, mask actions, mobility actions. So even if you have your full mobility and get to save some dice, you're not going to do as like an insane amount of damage. So mobility builds aren't like strictly the best, but mobility builds are good for if you want to be on the defensive. Muscle builds are good, but you can only really split your combat pool in half. Which is to say, it's like, let's say you have like, let's say, somehow you end up with like 6 dice, for example. I have six dice in my basic combat pool, no splitting. I can only split it in half. I can only do 3 to 1, 3 to 1. I have to dedicate a lot more to each individual. I can only really target 2 people in my area, or I can go all in on 1. Muscle's very good at trying to maintain like King of the Ring, for example. The problem being is you're trying to maintain King of the Ring. All the other ones are a gimmick of some variety. You get something out of it. Let's see, add any skill sets. Add any skill sets that may be appropriate to the situation. So if you take skill sets you want to do mask actions because you're more embodying you, but you're not doing it's not as efficient. That's kind of the thing. Like, it's like, yeah, you get to add more dice and you might be able to add like 2-3 more dice, but it's 2-3 more dice that are just like, okay, it's not like it's doing much for you. You just are hoping for more. I guess do we reduce the damage? No, let's not reduce. Like, mask is the most consistent. I guess we can do like mystery +1, but the hero pays forward any +1s they roll, so that means you may be able to string together many different actions together if we want to have that work that way. Yeah, I mean, that kind of works. It kind of works for the idea of mystery, of being like, I'm being secretive and shit. What? See, it's one of those things, like, as really the only moderator in my server, I have to kind of like look over every now and again, being like, I wonder what's going on over here. And then I'm like, oh wow, it's just Zanzibar it's Zanzibar gaming, everybody. So, okay, we've got our actions. And then actually what we can do is... Actually, we want to do movement, stunts, and... impressive feat. Movement, stunts, and impressive feats. When a hero has built their combat pool for the round, they are able to spend their dice to perform a series of bonus actions, a series of minor actions inside of series of hello phone. I hear my ding ding phone, but I don't see my ding phone. Hello, how are you? What? Well, let's play a game, everybody. What's this conversation like? My mama, everybody. My mama. They're able to spend their dice to perform a series of minor actions. Each minor action takes a die to perform, allowing them to reducing their combat pool, but having some noticeable benefit. A noticeable benefit. And we're going to this, and technically you are a heading 3, so we need to make you heading 4. Very important conversations. See, the best part is when I'm in my more zen moments, people can't just take my voice and then suddenly use AI magic to make me say I love TSL. Somebody did that today. Someone has stolen my voice, my voice, and has recorded me saying how much I love TSL. However, they did two very distinct problems, or two very major problems with this, and that is they did not factor in my verbal tics, because I am in fact a Ubisoft game character. They also did not factor in one very important thing about me, and that's, well, my inflections. Because apparently, according to my server, I don't actually have this I have a cadence to my voice, which likes to get quieter as I finish sentences. It's great. It's just how I do things. They will never be able to fully replicate the Notepad Anon experience. The Notepad Anon experience requiem. People are now talking about the fucking Auschwitz drawing. Yeah, that was fucking funny. That's just funny in a meta sense, by the way. That entire thing was just... mostly because it's by a person who does edgy artwork, and I don't know why people are like, oh my god, why are you doing such edgy artwork? It's like, well, people, it's almost like this is what they do. And the amount of people who, mind you, this is the funniest part to me. This is the most amusing part. It was the people who like would retweet it and being like, I never liked this artist. This is a terrible person. If you follow them, you're a terrible person. I'm like, you dumb motherfuckers. You dumb fuck. Like, don't retweet it then. Don't. Why are you retweeting it? You've just made it bigger. You fool. You absolute baboon. But you keep doing it, and the best way I could kind of think about it is someone saying, man, I sure do hate racism, while standing in front of graffiti with the biggest thing you've ever seen on it. It's like I get what you're trying to do here. You're trying to make sure that you look like a better person for it, but come the fuck on, come on. Especially when you see like, oh, this person's following this person's following this. I don't get people. I find it funny. I am amused by human beings. Our human fallibility. For about having some noticeable benefit. So we want to do actually we can probably keep the same. You can probably keep the same idea like here, which would be we can do assist, we can do movement. Like assist movement. Ow. Pin down. Let's do. We want to assist. That's going to give people that's going to be effectively a free pay it forward to your friends without you being able to use it. Movement, which is your ability to obviously move. Pinning down an enemy is like you can't leave. Like I'm sticking you in my zone. You can't leave. I can't leave. Which we're then going to do. I'm going to say recovery at this point. What would be some other good ones? what would be some other really good, solid ones to allow people to do things with? Yeah, okay. These are going to be the ones we're going to use for now. So assist. The hero takes one of their die and immediately pays it forward to an ally within one space of them. Within one space of them, they cannot use this paid forward die in any other way. The hero takes moves one section of their choice, allowing them to close the distance. Pin down. The hero prevents an enemy from moving out of the current section they both are in. And then finally, the hero takes a breath. The hero takes a much needed breath. They recover 1 stamina. That's all it is. You're going to recover 1 single stamina by doing that. You're pretty much burning your dice in exchange for hello phone. You're burning your dice in exchange. You're going to send me more Instagram memes, aren't you, Mom? Because that's what you do. See, I love my mom to death, but she likes sending me Instagram memes. People have asked, like, why don't you just put it on mute or something? And I don't do that because I know the millisecond I don't answer, she'll call wondering if I'm dead or not. Because that's just how my mother acts. Being like, hey, you haven't picked up the phone in, 10 seconds. You must be dying. It's like, I'm not. But thank you for checking. Like, we do that. If we select all of you, we hit middle, top, middle. You're the only one up there, so we need to just keep you at top, just to make sure everything lines up well. You can all stay in the middle because you're all kind of up side. It's moments like this, being like, are you sick? Do that? Are you feeling okay? Let's see. Are you sick or are you just making a funny? One of their dice and immediately pays it forward to an ally within one section of them. They cannot be paid forward in any other way. But what I'm going to do is leave them attempting to leaving them open for attack. However, we're going to add in the idea of when choosing actually heroes and villains both need to be within one section to strike their target. In 1 second to strike their target. However, to wrestle, they must be within the same section. So you're always kind of like at a disadvantage if you want to rush forward to try to wrestle someone. You're already kind of at a little bit of a disadvantage there. I'm okay with that. I think I think that's appropriate. Let's see what's going on. Nope, it's everything's still on fire in my server. Have no fear, everybody. We do that. Must be moving out of the current section they are both in. Within one section of them, within move to one capitalized section. Here take much needed breath. They recover one stamina. We are going to add it right here. Well, I know what we can do. We can do merge, mix up. I know how I want to do this. That. The hero switches their they're predetermined. They're determined. Actually, the hero switches their determined method of attack. Either their crime fighting quality or their either their crime fighting quality or their personal quality. Either crime fighting quality or personal quality. This allows them personal quality, spending the remaining die to successfully. Actually, they do not gain any additional die. They do not gain any additional die. They do not gain any additional die. There we go. What does this actually mean? What this means is, if we hit that button like that, we do this. You can mix up. You can move from, hey, I want to. We were striking before. We're now going to be doing. We're now going to be wrestling. We're going to be doing this. Hey, I was in macho stance to build my. I get a huge dice pool now. I'm going to spend one of my die to move to muscle because now I can do a bunch of other things. So it's kind of like you're spending a little to get a little. That's kind of the idea there. So if we do that. Which actually, if the hero chooses to mix up, they can switch their crime fighting quality to a stunt instead. When perform stunts are any action that is not striking or wrestling. Any action that is not striking or wrestling, including let's see, in striking or wrestling, this includes trying to thwart an enemy through mind games, or using a complicated gadget in the field. The stunts are open-ended. Let's see, stunts are open-ended and allow actually stunts are any action that is not striking or wrestling. Let's do that. This includes trying to thwart an enemy with mind games, using a complicated gadget. Actually, no, we can do using a complicated gadget. Or using their impressive bulk to hold escort civilians to safety. Using an impressive bulk to escort civilians to safety. mixing up into a stunt. Mixing up into a stunt prevents the use of different attacks. Let's see. Yeah, that's pretty much it's kind of like the idea if you're not doing these things, you're doing a stunt, and if you're stunting, that means you're not. It's like, yeah, you're doing something, you can't do it, but mixing up is allowing you to kind of I wouldn't say offload that problem a little bit, but it's allowing you to kind of mitigate some of its bigger problems. You're not necessarily just stuck doing it. What I missed? Nothing. You missed me like doing this. That's really it. It's not too complicated. Okay, so now we do pay it forward. Here's what we can do. Pay it forward. Every time a hero rolls a 6, they are allowed to pay forward the die that rolled it. Every time dice that are paid forward can do multiple things as they represent the hero pushing hero going the extra mile. Let's see. Going the extra mile. Now, what we can do immediately is we're going to do, because I love tables, because tables make my life very much easy. We backspace. Actually, we can put it like that. And then we can do, so our basic pay it forward actions would be, redistribute the hero. Die to another, actually, the hero takes their paid forward die. Let's see, takes their paid forward die and places it back in the combat pool. Combat pool, allowing them to redistribute it. So it's kind of the idea, like the most simple application of it, if you've rolled your dice and you've got a 6, you can just add it back to your pool now. You just have another dice to do. So if you roll a lot of 6s, you can actually kind of take multiple actions. The problem being is you have to roll multiple 6s, which is somewhat very, sometimes a little bit difficult. We'll do assist an ally. Set up. Actually, I should set up an ally. The hero gives their paid forward die to a hero, to the next hero to act. Gives their paid forward die to the hero. Give to the, let's see, the hero gives their paid forward die to the next hero to act, allowing them to add the die to their combat pool. Pretty simple. That's another pretty easy one to understand, which we're going to then do. What would be one of my Wusto. The hero uses their paid forward die to increase damage or strain of an attack. I'm gonna probably have to rename strain there. I don't know what else to call it though. Use a paid forward die to increase attack of an attack by 1. Pretty simple to understand. Probably do our final one, which would be we do a punishment. Hero uses a paid forward die. Actually, we can do tire out. The hero uses a paid forward die to reduce an enemy's stamina by 1. That's all it is. Just tiring them out. These are the most basic understandings of how to use this particular system. Not complicated, not difficult. This is just what they do. I mean, I guess I could try to use, because the basic idea in a pure gameplay sense, got my d6s. I've rolled a 6. So I'm using my 6. I want to pay it forward to my dice pool. Let's say I have 2 extra dice. So now I can use this. I'm gonna try to hit someone else. I've used my dice. I've rolled. I failed. Cool. I've done it. But it's like I'm gonna pay it forward to this person. Then I'm gonna pay it forward to this person. Then I'm gonna pay it forward to this person. With the bigger dice, by the end, people, you should have a decent number of dice. This action is pretty selfish. You're using it to boost yourself up. That's kind of like for the guy at the end who you have nothing else to do. Boosting up is also for that last guy. We want to do a big hit, or is like this guy's 1 HP. We need to stop him now, this turn. Then you boost. Tiring out is also, hey, I want to set this guy up, and we need to do it this turn. I feel like there should be another one with like, I guess we can use it. The hero uses do we want to tie? See, half of me wants to tie it to a punishment, like you're using these to do a punishment, but the other half of me doesn't want to, because I mean, should this be fine enough? Like, part of me is saying like this is legitimately all you need. Like, you can do one of these 4 things, with this being the priority. I mean, I guess we can put that in, being like, yeah, like redistributing is the main way of doing it. I mean, if we do, no, it would be setting up would be like the main priority. I guess I can literally put that as a footnote. This is like a part of me is like, yeah, this is the main value of paying it forward, is that you immediately are able to like bring it to an ally of some variety, being like, hey, yeah, suddenly you have a little bit more of an advantage. Like, this is the main important thing you should be doing, is setting up other people for it. Another half of me doesn't want to. I'm getting a phone call now. Hello, phone. Hello, welcome to my mother, who prefaces any conversation immediately by, "Hey, are you ready for this?" I'm like, "Okay," and then she'll just talk. Some of our conversations I will have like 10 words spoken, and she'll just keep talking. Now we're talking about Angel Gear, apparently. Hey, I'm trying to avoid my Japanese TRPGs this week, everybody. I'm trying my best. We did so many last week. That's why we're doing The Price of Freedom tomorrow. Okay, let's get back to, sorry, people are posting cringe elsewhere. So, paid forward actions, which is going to then immediately go on to the idea objects. I am using objects in this game. I think objects are the most appropriate thing in the world for this game, actually. During a... which we're going to do the idea of during a chaotic punch up. During a chaotic punch up, the heroes and villains may find a tool, may find loose tools, weapons, or even the occasional brick wall to throw at one another. These are referred to as objects. Each object is ranked from 1 to 5. Anytime a object is used, anytime a hero is in the same section as an object. Anytime a hero is in the same section as an object, they can use the object to add that many die to a strike or wrestle action. And to their combat pool, if they can justify it. Actually, heroes. What we can probably do? Insert color. We can do unmerge cells, unmerge the cells. So we can do probably do something like this. Find an object. The hero rolls their. The hero rolls the die on a 5 or 6. They manage to create a rank 1 or 2. They make rank 1, 5, or 2, 6 object on their section. They may immediately use it. Go, nice and simple. If they can justify it. Small objects maybe use as a ranged attack as well. Small objects may be used as a ranged attack as well, allowing the hero to make a strike attack at an enemy within their actually at any enemy they can currently see. Large objects on the other hand, used as cover, during a defensive action to add to the dice pool, to their dice pool. So pretty much it's like, as long as you have if you are doing a ranged attack, you can justifiably do it. Though this does lead me to, which we're going to do this real fast, which we're going to do lethal weapons. Actually, we'll say dangerous weapons. The heroes never use a truly dangerous weapon. All their gear and gadgets being tooled for non-lethal damage, including the fabled Gachi gun, which just shoots very heavy rubber bullets. No, we're not gonna do that. Being tooled for non-lethal damage. Villains do not play by these rules. When a villain is using a lethal weapon, the heroes cannot block. No. We're gonna do blocking first. I think blocking is the right thing to do. We do instead heading 3, which we'll do. Actually, we want to do block counter dodge. BCD, baby. BCD. People are like bamboozled that Japan thinks they are the real heroes of the war. Or, yeah. Have you ever seen Kantai Collection, my friends? That's all I gotta say. That's always the funny thing with like Kantai Collection. It's like, yeah, Japan literally does nothing wrong, the musical. That's like, yes. I know there's actually a full like manga out there of Kantai Collection being like, yeah, we won the war. And then how everything goes collectively wrong because of it. During the chaos, block counter dodge. Enemies are rarely static themselves, waiting to be decked. They are moving and surging forward to fight the heroes. They're moving and surging forward to fight the heroes. Each enemy, anytime the hero is attacked, they will need to make a call of whether they are going to defend or dodge. Actually, they're going to block. They're going to block or dodge. No, we can do block counter dodge. Blocking has the hero roll their I did call it block, right? I did call it that. I'm gonna call it something. It's gonna be very silly if I don't yet. I do have it as block. Rolled their block plus as it rolled their muscle plus block qualities. Qualities to mitigate the damage at them. Mitigate the damage at them. Actually, we can do something like mitigate the damage at them. However, each block, however, each block has the hero spend 1 stamina to perform, forcing them into a constant state. Wearing them down as they endure attacks. How each block has hero spend 1 stamina to perform, wearing them down as they endure attacks. Countering has the hero make a gamble. If they have not acted yet, they take their combat pool and dedicate a number of dice from it. They take their combat pool and dedicate a number of dice from it to immediately attack, to counterattack the enemy before they are struck. This requires no stamina, but does take away the total amount of combat dice the hero has later. If they have already acted, they cannot counter. So it's kind of one of those things like, if you are going quickly, you can't counterattack as easily. But if you're going later, you can counterattack. But you're burning away your combat pool. That's kind of one of the bigger issues. It's, hey, you're going in there and you're like, oh, I'm gonna try to bonk you over the head. Not too. Always do their strike damage. They always do their strike damage. Regardless, actually, they will always do their strike, they always do their current damage or strain to their enemies, depending on where their combat pool came from. So it's kind of like the idea of, like, if you're going in for a strike, you're going to do strike damage. If you're going in for wrestling, you're going to wrestle them. And it's like, it's someone like rushing forward, like, I'm going to punch you in the face. And you're like, oh, are you? As you give them a big bear hug in your battle mankini and, fucking pile drive them kind of thing. Ugh. Battle mankini. Saying here is being mystified about the fact that there's a Japanese nationalist in Japan. I am amazed. Give me 1 second. I need to post Kantai collection. And the current ruling party in Japan, basically the same one that was around in World War II. Fun fact about Japan. big fun fact about Japan, everybody. And this is always one of those fun questions you can lay at people and nobody has a good answer for it. What defines a democracy? I want you all to think about that. What defines a democracy? Now, you may be thinking, oh, well, there has to be multiple parties, and they have to have a good chance of winning each. There have to be transitions of power. There always have to be these different things, right? There has to be free and open elections. This is the fascinating thing with Japan, is Japan has effectively had the exact same political party in power for years. It's just been variations of the same amount of people. It's the Japanese Democratic Party. They've been in power since its foundation, effectively. That's the beautiful thing. They've not changed. They win every election because people vote for them. They win because they win. It's very simple in that regard. But the issue is they've never had anybody else, and to the point where there are, a lot more in like the what we would call like municipal elections, kind of like the district elections. Other parties, like, you pretty much are finding like Japanese Democrats fighting against Japanese Democrats because those are the only ones who have a chance of winning. That's why everybody perpetually memes on the Japanese Socialist Party, because they've been fucking desperate. They put out fucking VTubers, for God's sake, promoting the Japanese Socialist Party, even though nobody likes them. Not a single fucking person likes the Japanese Socialist Party, except weirdos. It's great. But that's actually one of the reasons why a lot of people actually suspect that there's a lot of Japanese nationalism. Because like Japanese nationalism is fascinating. Because a lot of it's not necessarily like we lost the war, because according to some of them, it's like we never lost the war, we just stopped fighting. It's like, what? Like, you get some like hardcore Japanese nationalists and things like that. That's why you actually get things like Kantai Collection, for example, where Japan's done nothing wrong. Or Gate. Gate is a really damn good example. Gate has quite literally the entire preface of Gate is Japan has done nothing wrong and we fight and we win because we're the greatest. Fuck everybody else. Like, it's great. It's fascinating. Exactly. It's like, technically, Emperor Hirohito didn't actually surrender. Yeah. Like, there are elements of Japan. Like, that was like a big thing with like Shinzo, where it was like he went to like a bunch of like World War II memorials and shit. Because like, they genuinely do not think they did anything wrong in China. There's a huge amount of people who are like, we didn't do anything wrong in China. And everyone spreading shit like that is wrong. That was actually a big deal a few years back, actually, because one city put out like they put out a fucking thing, which was like, they put out a statue of like Chinese comfort women in their city, but they were a sister city with a Japanese city. They're a sister city with a Japanese city, and they're like, if you do this, we're gonna cut off ties. And they're like, oh, well, why would you do that? That's ridiculous. And they're like, oh, well, okay, you do this, we're cutting off all our sister city ties, we're pulling everybody out, we're putting all the funding out. I think it was Atlanta, I want to say it was. And it's like, oh, well, fuck you too. Like in Japan, it's a big deal. But you also have to remember, the Japanese people are incredibly xenophobic. Yeah, no, like, Japan is incredibly xenophobic. And I mean that in, like, a very funny way. But it's one of those funny things. Like, we're gonna talk about the U.S. here real fast. There's a very big idea that like the U.S. is incredibly intolerant. Like, hey, we are like here as the US, we are this incredibly intolerant, people. And we, like, generally speaking though, like the US is incredibly tolerant of people. We don't give a shit where the fuck you are because we don't actually have a lot of national identity, not in like the traditional way. We're not like Germans. To a German, you cannot be German unless you are German. Like you get the ideas like birthright citizenship. Like, by sheer technicality, I could try to apply for. I don't think I would. I don't think I would be able to because I'm two generations too far to apply for German citizenship outright. But if you're, let's say, a Russian, for example, the only real way to get Russian citizenship is you have to be Russian. You must be able to prove that you have Russian ancestry with Russian, like I think it's 2 generations down. And if you don't do that, you're fucked. You just don't get that. You just don't. That's not a thing that happens. Only a few countries actually offer the idea of like you come into a country, and like if you were born in a country, you technically are a citizen of that country. There's very few countries that do that. Very few. America's one of them, but a lot of like European countries, they don't. That's not a thing. Like, you gotta be British, you gotta have the right things, your family's gotta be British. That's like a very, huge thing, especially on like mainland Europe. Like, you have to have very specific things. And that's actually been kind of an amusing thing for a lot of refugees. And one of the main reasons where there was such a massive European refugee crisis for a while is down to the fact of a lot of these countries didn't want anybody coming in. The Poles didn't want any refugees coming in, being like, why? They're not fucking Polish. They would not be qualified for citizenship effectively under it. Hell, you can get things like the Netherlands, for example. The Netherlands has accepted 0 refugees. They've accepted economic migrants who have nothing, though. That's a big thing in the Netherlands, is they don't accept refugees. None of them do. But they're all economic migrants. That's what they're literally treated as. It's like, Europe is incredibly intolerant at some points. If you're not like part of the right like ethnic groups, even things like Germany, if you're from the wrong part of Germany, you're fucked. Like Italy especially, if you're from southern Italy, you're double fucked. If you're from northern Italy and you're going to Sicily, you're triple fucked. You will get shot. Just because it's very historical. A lot of Asia is incredibly intolerant if you're not from around there, which you actually have some issues in like Vietnam, for example, where it's like they can't trace their family lines too far back because everybody has the last name Nguyen. That's just a problem they have because everyone wants to be Vietnamese. It's a very big thing there. Like Japan is, we hear about Japan a lot because they've put out probably the absolute most amount of cultural, I wouldn't say significance, but they've put out such unique cultural bits and pieces. We learn about Japan a lot more, and we have a lot of ties with the US. They have a lot of ties with the US because we nuked them. We dropped the sun on them twice. Fascinating bit, though, about kind of like Japan is, over the years, they've been doing kind of their best to... They want to keep exporting shit. Like, that's how the one guy, the guy who wrote Love Hina, actually, I can't remember his fucking name, Ken something. That's how, actually, one of the main reasons he got elected. Because, yeah, the guy who wrote fucking Love Hina got elected to the Japanese Diet. On quite literally, I want you to remember this, on the back of fuck Westerners, fuck this bullshit, keep doing what we're doing, we need to encourage our own kind of like latent, entertainment industry. And everyone was like, holy shit, he's key now. And like everybody was seething over here. It's funnier than fuck. But it's like, so anytime you have like an American say, like, we live in an intolerant society, just remember, intolerance is a natural like phenomenon in almost every other part of the world. It is. Like, we would really like to believe intolerance isn't real, but it is. And you even be like, well, beautiful places don't have, no, it's this. And it's like, one of the major reasons why you actually see there's one meme being like, oh, Africa for Africans, Asians for Asians, Europe for everybody. The reason you see that, ironically enough, is because Europe is for everybody. Because Europe dominated the fucking world for years. And everybody has kind of moved in there, and there's a lot of people. There are more people who speak English in the world than anything else. English is the lingua franca. France dominates entire sections of the fucking African continent. It's very fascinating when you come to, like, you know, this like tolerance or whatever. I find that very fascinating when it comes to like Japanese, kind of when people are like, it's the Japanese are intolerant or whatever, being like, the Japanese are doing what they've been doing for years. This has been this way forever. There's a reason in Japan, if you're black, they don't like you, because you're not right. You're not Japanese. It's not that you're black, it's because you're not Japanese. And they don't like that. It's kind of like people have been like, oh, well, they should they should be more tolerant or something. Like, no, like that's not a thing that happens. It's great. Beautiful racism. Racism is the thing that unites the world. Remember that, everybody. Gotta remember that, everyone. Which is, you know, you could say that it's sad. You could say that it's, you know, of various things. But always remember that people have been racist since Unga and Bunga. People have not been tolerant since then. 'Tis the nature of the beast, you could say. An unfortunate thing, but human. And we are nothing but human. Let's see. Block counter dot strain. No, finally a hero may attempt to dodge. No, dodging has the hero. Roll their mobility plus dodge qualities. Outright avoid damage. If they succeed, they must outright avoid damage. Let's see. Has the hero roll their mobility plus dodge qualities to outright avoid damage. If they are successful, they will move once. They will move one section. If they will move one section and avoid harm. If they fail, they will take the damage. Dodging does not require. It will take the damage and not move. Dodging does not require stamina. But forces the hero to maneuver. Force the hero to maneuver away, possibly. Actually, outright avoid. They move 1 second to avoid harm. If they fail, but they force the hero to maneuver. If enemies are in all adjacent sections, then the hero cannot. Then the hero will dodge. Then the hero will let's see. Hero to maneuver. If the enemies are in every section. Actually, how do I want to? Section. If the hero has no empty section. The hero has no empty section, including out of the ring, they cannot dodge. So it's kind of the idea of like dodging is kind of a big risk because it's the most reliable. You know, it's mobility plus dodge. You're able to do that. You're not spending anything. The problem with this is that if you are surrounded, you're going nowhere. You have to have an out. So, you know, dodging is such a big, risky proposition. think that should work. You know, I feel like I'm missing something. You know what we can do? That. If the actually we can do we'll do disaster strikes. Disaster strikes. If the hero is successfully hit with an attack, they can perform. They have, let's see, they have two options. Hit with an attack. They have hit with a standard attack. They have two options. Either they can roll with the punch. Either they can roll with the punch, reducing their stamina equal to the damage they would have taken. Equal to the damage they would have taken. They may also equal to the damage they would have taken. They may also take it to the face. They may also take it to the face. If they take it to the face, which has them reduce their heart by the amount of damage. The hero is allowed. Let's see. The hero is allowed to distribute. Actually, no. Roll with punch. If the roll with punch. If the hero rolls. If the hero chooses to roll with the punch, then they has their stamina break. They are susceptible to punishment. But punishment may also directly come susceptible to punishment by enemies. By their enemies. But if the hero is allowed to, yeah, so it's kind of like, this is what damage is really going to look like, but we're going to then move on to, so you block, counter, dodge, which we're going to do. Actually, we can do disaster strikes, which we're going to make this heading 3. Successful hit, susceptible to punishment by enemies. Pretty simple stuff. There we go. Roll with punch. So it's kind of like the idea of being like, you can take it right on your face, or you can just choose to just roll with the punch. You don't really have the option to do anything. Most of the time you're going to be rolling with the punch, however. Because you just want to, you're pretty much using your stamina to soak up damage. Even though it may not be the best, smartest idea in the world. Let's actually do... I forgot to add in the idea of wrestling moves. If the hero is choosing to perform a wrestling action and successfully hits, they may choose to spend a die from their combat pool. To in addition to the strain they've caused. Let's see, from the combat pool 2, in addition to the strain they've caused, perform a wrestling move. Each wrestling move, let's see, each wrestling move can only be performed once. So each wrestling move can only be performed once, but multiple moves can be strung. Multiple moves can be strung together as long as the hero can afford the die cost. Cool. We're going to add in this. Which we're going to do throw. Let's think this through real fast. We want to throw, we want to choke. Pin down. Let's see, throw, choke out. You're trying to pin down an enemy, make sure they can't move anymore. Actually, objectify. There we go. Throw. The hero forcibly moves the target outside to an adjacent section. Forcibly moves the target to an adjacent section, throwing them aside. The hero chooses to attempt to choke out a target, dealing an additional 2 strain to their stamina. The hero slams, smacks, and bruises the target. The hero slams, smacks, and bruises the target with their brutal wrestling style. Dealing 1 heart damage. Objectify. The hero converts their target into a 2 dice object, a rank 2 object, which allows them to use them as a weapon. Use them as a weapon for the remainder of the round. You'll pretty much be the idea is throwing you can try and be like throwing them to an adjacent section. You may be wondering, well, what's the value of that? It's to kick them out of the King of the Ring. Or you want to throw them aside. Choking someone out is like, I want to do extra stamina damage. Slamming an enemy is, hey, I want to just deal damage to them. Objectifying them is the funny one, which is like, hey, I am like legitimately converting you into effectively 2d6 I can use to beat someone else with. I'm turning you into an object effectively. Which the idea would be, you're mostly going to be spending about 3 you're going to be spending it on, hey, I want to throw, choke, and slam you, which is I'm going to throw, I'm trying to like choke you out a little bit, and then I'm doing some damage to you, and now I'm going to throw you aside. Or I'm going to try to turn you into an object, slam, choke, or just slam, choke. But again, it's one of those things where it's like, hey, I have a lot of dice, and now I've spent them all on a single target. So it's mostly, I suspect that people are going to do like maybe 2 of these. That would be my guess. Or they're going to roll really well and allow them to do different things, like pay it forward for a bunch of things to allow them to do more. But yeah, I don't really think they're going to do much else than that. Disaster strikes. We're going to do dangerous weapons. The heroes are trained in non-lethal let's see, the heroes are trained in non-lethal combat to overcome their foes with pure fisticuffs, and oiled up wrestling. However, their foes are rarely as kind. Enemies may be armed with lethal weapons. Maybe armed with dangerous weapons. These hurt. They are treated as objects. They're treated as objects for enemies, granting them additional die for the attack. They also grant a bonus in damage as well. However, the heroes have a negative 1d, a negative 2d difficulty in blocking these attacks successfully. A negative 2d in blocking or countering these attacks successfully. Countering these attacks successfully. If it is a ranged weapon, of some variety, then that negative 2d difficulty extends, and then that negative 2d difficulty extends to dodging as well. The disarming and disabling these foes are top priority. This is kind of the idea, like, hey, I'm bringing a knife in. If you want to bring a knife into the fight, it's like, yeah, you're going to be probably the most dangerous fucker around, like, because you're scary all of a sudden. Like, you have a weapon and you are definitely hindering the ability to block, dodge, and generally deal with enemies. This is going to lead us straight into punishment. Punishment. When a combatant is reduced to 0 stamina, they are considered to be exposed. When exposed, any combatant acting against them is able to perform a punishment. Heroes performing a punishment depends on the rank. Depends on the No. Here's performing a punishment on a goon. Here's performing a punishment on a goon. Depends on the rank. 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 Depends on the rank let's see. Hero performing a punishment on the goon instantly takes them down in a flurry of punches. Or let's see, it takes them down in a flurry of punches, or a singular powerful slam, wrestling slam attack. The more dice dedicated to a punishment, has the hero restore that much stamina as well. So it's kind of one of those things, like if you overzealously go in for like a kill, you're going to be able to recover a lot of stamina. Has the hero restore that much stamina to take out a single enemy. Villains and heroes and villains. Heroes and villains. When exposed. Heroes and villains actually will take double damage or strain from the next attack against them. Getting absolutely thrown around or mangled in the field of battle, in the field of crime fighting. To take double damage or strain from the next attack against them, getting absolutely thrown around or mangled in the field of crime fighting. Yeah, that's pretty much it. This is kind of the idea of punishment. It's just like, hey, if you do this, if you take down a goon, like with it, you're going to restore stamina from by like just being able to instantly take them down. However, if you're exposed, you're going to take, getting absolutely thrown around or mangled in the field of crime fighting. After the punishment, immediately regain one stamina. As long as the hero or villain is still standing. Yeah, it's kind of like, if you're still alive, you can then do that, but you're going to take it directly to your face, and it's not going to be pretty. Yeah. No, with any stamina strain attacks. After the punishment, immediately gain one stamina as long as hero villain is still standing. The punished immediately regain one stamina as long as, I should say, they are still standing. Yeah, pretty simple to understand. Dangerous weapons. Let's go up here. Let's hit this button. So we're doing this. I feel like I'm missing something. What am I missing? I know it. There we go. A bond of brotherhood. The heroes are united in more than just occupation. During a combat situation. During a throwdown, the heroes are able to support one another with their heart as well. A hero at the end of the round may willingly reduce their heart to give to another hero, allowing allowing them to share the burden. However, when a hero is downed, another one of their allies must rush up to the same section where they are downed. Defeat any enemies in that section. And then spend the remainder of their combat dice to split their heart in half, sharing it with their ally, sharing it with the downed hero. Brotherhood, the brotherhood being formed has the heroes fight together and fall alone. Those being formed has the heroes fight together and fall alone. As long as if the hero is at one heart, they cannot help a downed ally. They cannot help a downed hero. Instead must rely on others or carry them to safety. Very simple to understand. Hey, pretty much it's the end of the idea. Like, you can technically heal one another by virtue of just sharing your health, but if you're losing health consistently, you're kind of fucked in that regard. You are not having a good time. Why? Why are you all the way you are in my server? Why? Why are you doing these? Why are we now talking about horse semen? No, we never need to talk about horse semen. There's never a conversation that needs to occur. Not even once. That never needs to happen. In no way, in no world does a conversation about horse semen need to happen. But here we are, talking about fucking horse semen. Goons and villains. Every story needs a villain. Every story needs a villain and a few goons. Goons represent the unnamed masses of criminals and scum. Represent the unnamed masses of criminals and scum that find themselves in service to a villain or villainous organization. Often they are recruited from the shadowy organization of Uranus. Let's see. Often they are recruited from the shadowy organization of Uranus and the prison industrial complex These and a few goons represent the goons come in. Let's see. Goons come in five variety. Actually no. Goons are simple enemies meant to be taken down quickly. While there are plentiful amounts Well, there are plentiful amounts of them per scenario. No one goon is ever a full-on threat. No one goon is ever a full-on threat. They are, however, dangerous in numbers. Dangerous in numbers. There we go. We do this. Every good story needs goons. Organization of Uranus. There we go. I finally put in Uranus. We're going to. So, what do we need a goon to be? What do we need a goon to have? Well, goons are going to, like, a standard goon is going to have their attack value, which is going to be like 2D. Their defense value, which is going to be XD. And they're going to have actually we can do standard attack. They can do standard damage, standard strain. Actually, we're just going to do they're just going to have damage. Doesn't matter what they're going to be doing. They're always going to be doing damage most of the time. Actually, no, we do damage / strain. So, and then do it as X/Y. And then they are going to have what else? Actually, I guess we could have heart and stamina. So, if we want to apply this in here correctly, we need to do insert table 1. Maybe we do something like this. We merge all these rows together. We do standard goon template. Then we do attack value X, defense value, and then we do damage / strain. And then we do, actually we can do heart and then stamina. Our standardized goon template, because saying goon is funny. But can we shrink this down? Can we shrink it down to like this? Can we shrink this down to about this? Cool. We want to do table properties. Can we do 1? Can we do 1.25? Can we do over here to 0.25? We do it here to 1. We do it here to 1. Middle center. There we go. So. A little description down here of what they are. We're going to be doing the absolute basic enemies when it comes to these things. Attack value of they're going to have 2D. Defense value, they're only going to have a defense of 1D. Heart damage, they're going to do a grand total of 1 heart damage. They're going to do a grand total of 1 strain damage if they do actually hit. And they're going to have a grand total of 2 heart, and they're going to have a grand total of 3 stamina. They're very easy to get rid of. Their attack and defense value, their attack and defense values indicate the number of dice they will roll when on the attack, or defense. Goons may always move 1 second. So we want to do heart and strain damage indicate how much heart damage or strain they will cause to a hero. They may only do one kind of damage, however. Finally, their heart and stamina are their ability to stay upright. Stamina does not. They may not spend stamina. They may not spend stamina at all, however. One important note. All goons can move one section if they wish. Can move one section if they wish. If they wish on their turn. Yeah. So this is our standard foot soldier. They may not be smart or may not be strong, but they are frequently found in plentiful number. It's a Uranus foot soldier. So if we want to do this, so this is going to be Sumo King. So let's do standard. Penetrating deep into Uranus. One of the advantages, though, this is the big advantage of actually wrestling goons. When did Vosh join the server? One of the big advantages is that if you do reduce their strain to 0, is that you can then use them. You can pretty much dedicate dice to immediately heal your own strain. So it's like, okay, I'm at low HP, I'm kind of at low stamina. I can dedicate a lot of my dice one round and just fuck one guy's day up. Just pound him in the ass. And he's out of the fight completely, and you recover a lot of stamina. The best way to think about these guys is that they're not really supposed to be, like, dangerous. They are legitimately supposed to be just fodder. But there's, like, there's not, like, one Uranus foot soldier, there's, like, 6. So we've got you are outnumbered fighting these guys, and that's kind of the point. It's like, yes, you are completely outnumbered, but you got heart. That's all that matters. Let's do Sifu enemy types. Tell me more about the enemy types. List of enemies. We got henchmen. We got our basic guys. We got disciples. Our Sean students specifically want to prove themselves the strongest in the bunch, participate in the burning ceremony, having their armors branded by Sean. Actually, we can do actually, we'll say the Sumo Kings would be the Juggernauts. Flash kicks? What the fuck are you? Sprinter. So we've got sprinters. So you're gonna be our meat boy who you need to like try to bring down with his stamina to beat the shit out of. Sprinters are gonna be, their gimmick is like they can move two times. Then we're going to have, let's see. I mean, let's see. There's a couple sample goons, give everybody an idea of like what we're actually going to be fighting. The Sumo Kings, they're going to have a 3D. They're going to have a they're going to have a good defensive value. They have not that great actual heart damage, but they do a lot of strain if they do hit you. And that's what they want to do. They have pretty good heart, they have a lot of heart, and they have a decent chunk of stamina. Bloat lords. Yeah, there we go. Bulk. Actually, I know bulk lords. bulk lords, you're in a sprinter, so your attack value is going to be very low, your defensive value is going to be non-existent, but you're going to do a good deal of damage to the heart. You're not going to do that much damage. You're going to do no damage to strain. Heart, on the other hand, you're only going to have 4 heart, and your stamina is going to be 6. So now we can do you're in this. Fast and efficient. Yeah, they have legitimately no. They just want to run up. If they just need to hit you once. These guys are dex build. They need to hit you once. Greasy fist. I'm coming for Uranus. Attack value. These guys are going to be hitting pretty hard. They're going to have 4D. They're going to have very low defense. Heart to damage. They're going to do 5 whole heart to damage. They're going to be very scary. Heart. They're not going to have that much heart. Their stamina is going to be pretty decent. These guys do leave Uranus's training center. Yeah, we actually know. There we go. Being experts in the field of fisting. Let's see. So let's say we've got basic goon, heavy goon, fast goon, scary goon. I guess we can add in one guy who's like just really fucking fast. Like, let's see. Let's think. Like, let's let's think. Yeah, we cannot forget that technically it is canon that in Yakuza that Kiryu has fought zombies before. Let's not forget that fact of life, that Kiryu has technically punched multiple zombies to death. Like what am I? Actually, I know. Thank you for there we go. Uranus pounders. There we go. Attack value. They're not going to be super strong. They're going to have very high defense though. They're like going to be real hard to beat up in their. These guys are your heart damage. They're not going to do a lot. They're going to do a lot. Good deal of strain damage though. They've got a lot. They got a decent amount of heart if you can even hit them. But they have very low stamina, which they're. There we go. The Pounder program is designed for big guys who can take a hit. These absolute tanks are able to get pounded and pound back. There we go. So they kind of are like sumo kings, but they are actually, let's reduce their heart down a little bit. They're sumo kings with subbing out defense for actually Bulk Lord. Yeah, so there's no like rules for like what you should put in there, but these are like the absolute basics. Size kings. I think bulk lords do really get a good idea of what they're about. Have no fear. It's the bulk lords. Because mind you, you don't actually have that much like health. Like getting like having like 1 or 2 heavy hitters is like, that's kind of spooky. The problem is with heavy hitters is that they're very weak when it comes to defending themselves. So you want to like just dive in on them real fast. But it's like, yeah, there's going to be a few of them. It's like, oh no, there's enemies. Oh no. Oh no, I'm being pounded. What am I going to do? I'm just like, like, I feel like this is, hey bro, you're making it weird. I don't know what you're talking about, man. I'm getting pounded over here. I'm like, oh god. Can we shrink this any? Can we? I don't think I can shrink this any further, so I'm going to keep it like this for now. There we go. Oh no! Oh no! I'm being pounded in the butt. Every story needs a few goon. Needs a few disposable goo. So we then go to heading number 3, which is villains most foul. Villainy comes. Rear guards. Yeah, I think we go with the rear guards. There we go, rear guard. Sprinters, heavy hitters, pounders. Yeah, there we go. I think that works pretty well. It does its job of all being vaguely Glock stallions. Why are you doing this? Why are you all the way that you are? That's my question. Why are you here? Why are we now Vosh gaming? I don't want to be Vosh. Vosh loves to fuck horses. A weird man. He's a weird little man. Dude, that's like the one thing I will never understand. People are like, man, Vosh is so intelligent, being like, he wants to fuck horses. The fuck, no. Stop that. Stop that right now. We're not doing this. This is not happening. And people are like, man, Vosh is so smart. I'm like, the fucker, no. It's one of those things that just like permanently perverts anything that he has to say. Even if he is like an incredibly intelligent person. Every single conversation that he is a part of must now be prefaced by, this is a man who wants to fuck horses. Like, that's just like the preface you have to line in, like you have to lead up to. I mean, it's like encountering like the smartest person alive, except you damn well know that man sucks on toes. It's like no conversation will be better. Being like, doesn't matter how smart he is. It's just like, does he want to fuck horses or get fucked by horses? I think both. I don't know. Like, it's like I've seen too much shit about, like, too many memes of him being like, we need weird shit with like horses and stuff. It's like, no, man, that's weird, dude. What the fuck? No. Ew. Like the one fucking dog lady that was what was her name? It was like Puppy Power or something. I can't remember what it was. Like Madam Canine. I'm not fucking with you. She was making waves on Twitter about a little under about 2-3 weeks ago. I was like, oh, like she looks like perfectly normal. Oh, she wants to fuck her dog. I'm like, what? No. bestiality is weird. Like like a bestiality will never be like right to me. And it's always one of those things I'm like, not banned by OnlyFans for fucking dogs on camera. It's like, what the fuck? It's like, yeah, there's not a single situation in legitimately not a single situation that being like, I'm like, there is an animal that this woman wants to have sex with. There is no situation where that's good. Not a single moment in history has that been a good thing. Nobody has been like, ah, yeah. It's something like, what, Zeus did it. And you're like, but that was fucking Zeus. Zeus turned, and he wasn't even good about it. He was a dick about it. Literally. Like, there's no good situation for this. And I don't know why women keep doing it. Like, it's like, this dog cannot consent. And like, that's usually my limitus test for a lot of things. Like, can the thing that you are, like, it's like the Harkness test. Except, like, we can go one step further with the Harkness test by asking one question. Can this thing apply for a mortgage? Being like, hey, I want, like, hey, there's a dog here. Like, can this creature apply for a mortgage, a fixed rate mortgage? If the answer is no, then don't fuck it. Don't do anything with it. Don't think about fucking it. Why? This isn't a complicated, like, fucking math equation, people. Like, but it's like, nah, man, I want to do this. Like, no, you fucking weirdo. No. Stop it. Right now. Fucking weirdos. Jesus, fuck. But it's perfectly natural. Like, no, the dog cannot consent. The dog cannot sign for a fixed rate mortgage. But I can, so it's no. See, that was like the fucking, oh god, there was one, it was, Deadwing Dork. If you ever get curious, it's, Deadwing Dork. He actually does some live dives and some bullshit. He did a thing on fucking Zoo Files once, and that was a descent into chaos. Like, I know too much about them now, and I'm like, what the fuck? What in the fuck is all of this shit? And some of, like, the arguments they've made, it's like, what the hell are you? Like, can you just stop existing? Like, can you just commit Sudoku? Like, I am begging you, just stop. Just stop. But it's like, they keep trying to be like, oh, it's perfectly natural. It's not. It's never natural. But I guess this is also from, this is also a timeline when people are like maps. Have you ever heard of maps? Yeah, I learned about those I learned about those like last year. I'm like, they aren't real. I refuse to believe they are real. I thought it was just a meme. No, they exist. I see them on Twitter like once every now and again, usually by one of the people I fucking follow, telling them that they're a fucking weirdo. And it's like, no, this doesn't exist. I refuse to have you exist. I refuse to make sure that you exist in the same reality as me. But they do. The dolphin fucker was really weird. She worked at fucking SeaWorld. Dolphins are weird, man. Don't fuck with dolphins. They will fuck you. That's the issue. Dolphins are weird animals. Man, no, fuck dolphins. Not that way, you fucking perverts. Yeah, dolphins are psychotic. Like, dolphins are, like, really weird in the way they think. It's funny, the smarter the animal is, the more deranged they become. I mean, yeah, it's one of those things, like, these animals, I like, the really intelligent animals can get, like, really weird. The only, like, really hyper-intelligent animal you don't see being really weird are elephants. But elephants are like super nice, and they do things every now and again, and you watch like a little elephant clip of like a little baby elephant getting like scared and like running around in circles, or you end up with like, oh, look at the little elephant, he got nipped, he wants to play. It's like, oh my god, elephants are adorable. Yeah, the only times you see elephants do weird things are like when they are like clearly fighting with one another. It was I believe they're called bulls, or like the actual like alpha male tier elephants. Like they'll get into fucking fights. They'll beat the shit out of each other. Like, but that's like giraffe fighting. Like giraffe fighting is horrifying. Like it's like, Jesus fuck. You think, oh, giraffes are such majestic fucking creatures? No, they're scary. Fuck, man. Orcas are the most dangerous motherfuckers around. Like orcas are like spooky. They will do shit that is just like, oh yeah, by the way, we're like, there was one where it's like, oh yeah, we're like a fishing trawler, and like we just feed the orca fish, and it'll like lead us to other animals to hunt. It's like, what the fuck? It's like, yeah, if we just feed this orca, it'll like lead us to other things to kill. It's like, oh, that's perfectly normal. Like, this is just a perfectly fine situation. Like, no, it's weird. Certain apes are actually interesting, but ever since I learned about the Gombe chimpanzee war, I believe Joe Rogan's approach to like monkeys and apes in general, which is don't fuck with monkeys or apes. They be spooky. The fucking Gombe. Again, if you ever want to see something like just if you ever want to see something like truly fascinating, it's just the Gombe chimpanzee war. Like, that is so fascinating. Because it's so human, but it's so inhuman at the same time. It is such a fucked up event. And it's like, oh god, like, oh god, that's us. Every other living thing on Earth but humans. Well, yeah, because like we have the thing is, like, we have traditionally found more kinship with orcas than anything else, because orcas will fuck up whales. They'll fuck up whales. That's what they do. They're called killer whales for a fucking reason. They will fuck up sharks. They'll fuck up anything. They don't want to fuck with humans. They don't. They're like, nah, humans are fine. We don't want to fuck with them. We want to fight the great whites. And people have actually found, like, when they like tag sharks and stuff, they found them like, oh, I wonder why they're all like running away from something. And then they will go there and they will find a pod of fucking orcas hanging around. They're like, oh, there's a bunch of fucking orcas here. Fucking Free Willy isn't here. Free Willy wants to fucking eat your face. Yeah, I mean, hell, man. I've seen pictures of like what orcas do. Like, the thing is, orcas don't just kill sharks. They rip parts out of them and let them bleed to death. It's like, oh fuck. Oh shit. Like, if you're like millions of years of fucking evolution being like, ah yes, we are the apex predator of the ocean, and then like one creature's like, I've been specifically designed to fuck you. My one job in life is to fuck you and your day up. I mean, like, nah, man, I'm not dealing with that shit. That was this big ancient primal shark creature. I see an orca. I ain't fucking with it. I'm like, you know what? Fuck you. Fuck that. I'm out. Like, I don't want to deal with this shit. Like, it's actually very, like, some animals are very fascinating in how they express intelligence, and others are, like, very, like, it's always funny, because you either see, like, this pure, like, caring potential, like, oh, wow, elephants will go out of their way to care for one another, and they'll, like, hold each other. It's, like, even some, like, apes and stuff, like, they'll work together a lot. You know, even if there's like an ape that's kind of injured or something, they'll try to nurse it back to health. They'll like actually try to carry the old. Wolves work together in kind of very fascinating pack structures of like trying to protect protect weaker members of the pack. And then you see like just the ocean produces fucking monsters, like. But I guess that's like the fun fact. Spoiler warning: that is the entire back half of the Beastars manga, by the way. Like, but the ocean is spooky. Like that is an entire subplot in Beastars, by the way. How the ocean produces weirdos. Like, God, Beastars was good. Never watched the anime for it because I didn't like the 3D. But let's see. Mm. Well, let's see. Often find themselves surrounded by plentiful amounts of goons. Plentiful amounts of goons and other implements to succeed at their brazen crimes. Their brazen crimes. When confronting a villain, it's the climax. When confronting a villain, it's the climax. It's a do or die situation. It's a do or die situation with the heroes finding themselves face to face with the culprit. The subsequent punch up will be the dramatic ending. Will be the dramatic ending to the story. Should the heroes not fail to uncover it, that is. Villains are built similarly to the heroes themselves, with the same attributes and ability, with the same qualities and abilities as them, alongside their concepts. However, as villains are designed to be tougher than the average hero. They are given a few benefits. Okay, let's just double check it up here. Hello, Buffman. Uh, 43221. Given a few benefits, which we're going to do is the idea of their personal qualities. These are 5 the personal quality start at a standard 6 5 3 6 5 4 3 3 2 6 5 4 3 2 and 2. So they're already kind of stronger than like the standard hero by about 3 points. And there's personal qualities. Their combat qualities start at start at, they get 5, which it's going to be 5, it's going to be 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 5, 5, 4, 3, and 2. Mm-hmm. Outside of that, they begin with the standard. What they begin start a standard amount of skill set. Standard amount of skill sets. Skill sets. Standard amount of skill sets. Standard amount of skills. Standard amount of skill stats. Hmm. A total of five, including their base, including their base villainous concept. However, these skill sets not only inform how they operate as a person, but may also indicate special abilities or quirks. When triggering such an ability, they will be using a mask plus. They'll be using a stunt action. They'll be using a stunt action of some variety. Actually, start with +2 heart and +2 stamina. Actually, we'll do +3. We'll do +3 heart and +3 stamina. Go. If a villain, these rules are assuming a male villain. However, if the villain is revealed to be a super powered woman, a super heroine, then the heroes are in desperate straits. They can depend their desperate straits. Their concepts are instead their powers, allowing them to manipulate the field and deal with the heroes effectively. They may superpowered individuals, the best option is often running away or calling in your own. A bit of creativity, but sometimes a bit of creativity, luck, and a haymaker, all you need. So it's kind of like the idea of being like, if you are actually fighting a superheroine, you are and not doing good. Like, things are going poorly for you all of a sudden because you are fighting someone who is pretty much completely outclassed, who not only outclasses you but is way stronger than you. Superpowered individuals, the best option is often running away or calling in your own, but sometimes a bit of luck, creativity, and a haymaker is all you need. That's pretty much the idea there. I want to keep that simple because I think it's easier. Okay, so now we just have to do the last panel. When the scenarios have been reached and the heroes have failed in their has been reached. When the heroes have failed in their mission, they will reach the conclusion phase. During the conclusion phase, the heroes will have a chance to perform one final scene each, explaining the epilogue, as well as their personal needs. As well as their personal situations. Worked out to a motherfucker. So the last panel scenario. So we want to do. How do we want to word this? Actually, I know. Do Gachimuchi Super Smashers. Gachimuchi Super Smashers. Is primarily designed for one shot session play, allowing for a quick in and out style of play, encouraging fast action and decidedly homoerotic overtone. And decidedly and brotherly affection. There we go. Encourage fast action, brotherly affection. However, if the players in Danger Master wish to continue using the same characters for subsequent episodes for a quote season, footnote campaign, episodic campaign. Let's see. Used for subsequent for a season. They are allowed to advance a character at the end of the session. At the end of the episode. Yo, Gachimuchi Super Smashers is primarily designed for one-shot play. Well, Danger Master wish to continue episode for a season. Episodic. I do want to be this is very episodic. I don't want to be like, this is a campaign game. Like, nope, this is a game for, episodic, very... Why is the Discord still talking about horse semen? Horses, that's why. We're talking about horses. It's very important. You don't understand. Advanced character at the end of the episode. Oh. When hero advances, they are allowed to do the following. Which is going to be, they are going to increase a personal quality by +1, increase a crime fighting quality by +1, rewrite or add a new concept, or add a new skill set. Actually, they're allowed to do two of the following. Increase the gadget point, increase the gadget points by +3, by +2. It's kind of like you're getting more gadget points and this increasing a personal quality. Increase base heart by +1. Increase base stamina by +1. There we go. You can do 2 of the following. It's kind of like one of those things. Like I always assume you're going to be always going to be increasing your qualities. Like that's kind of just a default, but you can't. But it's like, yeah, personality, you know, personal qualities. If they are part of a hero company, that actually if they successfully resolve the situation, have each of the heroes roll a number of d6s equal to the difficulty of the mission. The added together score is their new hero rating. The higher it is, more respected they are within the hero community and their local area. If they are independent, half this value as well. Half their total value. Actually, yep, there we go. Once they reach 100 hero rating, they officially are now in the quote big leagues, and a superheroine may have there we go. Unfortunately, they may have caught the attention of a superheroine. Unfortunately. There we go. Right there. Alright. Just need to add some images and we should be good. I think that's pretty much it, though. Yeah, I think this is pretty much it. Good job, team. People are asking me. Thoroughbred horses are made for. Thoroughbred horses are made for racing, but they are quote pure breed. They are pure breed. However, you can have a pure breed horse not made for racing. All thoroughbreds are. That's kind of the best way of thinking about it. Technically, thoroughbreds are originating from English mares or Arab stallions and widely used as racehorses. Like that's if you want to make it correct. That's the if you want to be precise about it, a thoroughbred horse is of pure breed, especially breed originating from English mares and Arab stallions. This is what a purebred horse is. Okay? And technically, if you do like a pure breed horse, you want to be very precise about it. A basic idea of a pure breed is just a horse, bred for a singular purpose. It doesn't necessarily need to be anything there. A vast majority of the time when people are talking about pure breeds, they're talking about thoroughbreds. That's what they're talking about. They're talking about these. They're talking about thoroughbred horses for racing. It's pure breeds, though. You might get pure breeds for different horses that are not necessarily meant for racing, of course, but those are kind of rare. You don't get those as often. Racing horses are rarely used for anything except racing. Those damn things are fragile. Yeah, like I don't think people quite understand this. Like an actual like fully like thoroughbred horse is incredibly fragile. They're also very fucking stupid at some points. Like you have pretty much bred a horse to do one thing, and that's be fast and have an insane stamina. It's not really they are not really like super strong. Yeah, it's nature hates horses. Like horses, like a natural horse, like if you just like a horse on a farm, like a farm horse, is usually incredibly well built and incredibly strong. But like after like race horses, you gotta think about it like this. Race horses do two things. They run and they go fast. They run and they fuck. That is the two jobs of an actual race. They do nothing else. Like that's actually, you end up with situations like if a racehorse like breaks its leg, they usually just get put down immediately because they've lost all value. They've lost legitimate. They are not used. They're worthless. They're worthless animals, unfortunately. You go and you fucking shoot. And that's what happened to Silent Suzuka. Fun fact: that's what happened to Silent Suzuka. One of the horses from Ume Mizume. He was running around the track and he was doing real well, and he hit an angle just wrong and his fucking leg snapped in half. You can't walk on it. They will never heal, mind you. It takes months for like a sprain or a fracture, mind you, to heal. Months. A full break is, yeah, that's actually the plot point of the first that technically is the plot point of the first season, is Silent Suzuka breaking her leg. Because again, the race where that technically takes place, the one she does break her leg, is they get shot. Like that was actually like one of the horrifying things about that situation. You can find a video of it. It breaks. This horse, he broke his leg. They go out there with the shotgun and put the damn thing down. They have to. It is $1 million fucking horse, by the way. It's millions of dollars, and if they have to fucking kill it because it does not function. Like a horse with a broken leg cannot walk. They cannot move. They are useless, and it's very like, damn. Yeah, horses can die from stress alone. Break a leg, they die. Even if they are healed, the physically is great degraded, not moving a long time. Yeah, like thoroughbred horses are insanely fragile, and they also get spooked by a lot of things. Like they are very It's very fascinating for like thoroughbred race horses, because they are some of the, if not the most like fragile creatures around. I wonder if I can find I'm gonna Google this because it actually does a very good example of what it is. Thoroughbred horse anime, because there actually is a fucking manga. Okay, we're not looking at that manga. Where is that? in there, can I find that one? I can't even remember. But they did this. Actually, I know what we can do. Thoroughbred centaur. Centaur manga. Don't be porn. Don't be porn. Don't be porn. Okay, good job. We did it. No porn. I wonder if I can find it. I will try to find it. But there's actually it was like one of these, I think it was by this guy right here, Centaur's Life. I think it was by them, which you should all read. A Centaur's Life, by the way. It's very good manga. They actually did a thing about different breeds of horses and how thoroughbred, and they had talked about like thoroughbreds, like they get scared of lightning, they won't run if they don't feel like it. Like these horses are incredibly temperamental creatures. Like that's why you never see horse races in like the actual like bad conditions. Like if it is not necessarily that it's raining, but if it's lightning outside, they will not race. They cannot, because these fucking horses will not do anything. They will get spooked and they will try to run away from the lightning. It's like, you stupid you stupid fucking horse. I know cheetahs, their entire population got bottlenecked at 35 individuals at some point. It fucked them up big time. They can't roar, they chirp. Their fucking heart can explode if they run too hard. They have terrible stamina, they have mental breakdowns. They are an animal that needs service dog to function in captivity. Yeah, it's like... It's one... There's a few... Like, it kind of happens with like any... Like it kind of happens with like any animal, and I'm going to talk about Gachimuchi. It's ending in a minute, but we need to talk about animals real fast, okay, everybody? We're talking about fucking animal genetics. Like that's what actually happened to a lot of like animals at some point. Because if let's say like you have this massive population, like this is the entire population of something. But if something happens and suddenly you get cut down to just this section of the population, these guys all start breeding with one another, and that's where you get really big problems. I will point out one of the nature's most unfortunate animals. Picture the koala. Koalas are stupid. Koalas are stupid fucking barely functional animals. They are useless animals. They eat something they can barely digest. It's the only thing they can eat. They all have gonorrhea. They are all like, they barely function, and they will do things that actively harm them. But they have such a small population at some point in their history that it went from this to this, only this size. And it just kind of like permanently fucked up the entire species. You know, same thing goes for like pandas, for example. You're like, oh wow, look everybody, it's so adorable. Look at pandas have like a legitimate like breeding season of like a week, and if they just don't feel like it, they just won't. Like you have to legitimately like. Yeah, it's like they do not function as animals. They're like, koalas literally can't eat leaves that somebody else picked for them because they aren't smart enough to register it as food. Yes. Like, there's a couple animals out there that, like, by all metrics, the only reason they are alive is because of mankind. Pandas are one of them. Pandas are one of those, like, species of animals. Koalas are one of those species of animals that by all metrics, Darwin should have been right. But we keep them alive because we think they are cute, even though they are stupid, dumb fucking animals. And that's kind of like what happened to like cheetahs, for example. Like, cheetahs are stupid animals. Except yeah, exactly. It's like their entire system is optimized wrong. And they just chose not to. They legitimately chose to be less optimized. And it's like, you stupid animals. You dumb animals. It's like, oh god, why? Fucking animals. Stupid animals. Built different. Yeah, pretty built different. Talking about goats. Oh, geez. People are saying just obsessed with horse girls at this point. There you go. But yeah, Gachimuchi Super Smashers is done. Good job, team. We did it. We truly smashed it. I would say there's how do I fucking this is one of those games. This is one of those games that are just cursed. Like it's just a cursed fucking game. That somewhere along the way, I think one of the issues here with Gachimuchi Super Smashers was that the concept was so high. Like the actual high concept of Gachimuchi Super Smashers was actually pretty solid. Hey, you're a bunch of low-tier superheroes. I don't have to worry about superpowers. I don't have to worry about any of that. You're just a bunch of guys who want to punch people. Easy enough to understand. I think the major issue was twofold. There's two major issues with this. One, I think I went into it with not necessarily the wrong angle, but I think I went into it with an angle that was maybe not ideal. Because what I wanted to do is, hey, I want to make a simple system that's more episodic. And I think I dedicated myself a little bit I think I got shunted down a path that I was a little bit too dedicated to. I think the play it the pay it forward system, I think that works. I think the idea of, pay everything forward, use danger dice, doing things like that. I think the actual core system works. I think my main issue with this game really does boil down to the fact that, like, I had to, all of this I already wrote. There's like 4 or 5, there's a good chunk of pages that I already technically wrote that I don't really add anything to. I don't really kind of expand on in any way, because I couldn't really, that wasn't really anything I could do. And it was more of a project with me sitting back and wondering, how do I do this, rather than a project of me looking at it being like, okay, let's do this. And I think the core premise works. I think the core mechanics work. I feel there's something wrong with it. There is something is not clicking correctly. And I can't put my finger on what it is. Now, part of me is thinking that it is the numbers aren't right. I can fix the numbers. But another half of me is is something more fundamental? Is it something more back end that I can't just I can't just write around something because there's something broken at a fundamental core? I don't know. And that, I think, is one of the bigger issues with this game, is me just going into this being like, hey, here's a very basic high concept. And I think that worked. I think the high concept is there. I just don't think something isn't right with this, and I don't know where that isn't correct. I think the Gachimuchi aspect is fine. I think it's funny. I think it works appropriately. I don't think I worked it in as much as I was hoping I could. Given infinite time, infinite effort, I could probably try to throw in more things, but there was only so much I can do with how limited I was kind of working with the actual gameplay, you could say, ended up being pretty simple, which feels like that shouldn't be the case, but is it fine because it's supposed to be light? I don't know. And I that's the part that's kind of always wearing me down a little bit. Like there's something clearly wrong, but I don't know what it is. But Gachimuchi Super Smashers is done. For now, at least, until I figure out some golden answer, some golden key to the whole thing. Until I figure that out, I'm a little bit fucky-wuckied. But I think the idea works. The pitch works. Something isn't right though, that it's to click it all together. There needs to be glue or something somewhere. There needs to be something somewhere to make all of this click together nicely. Once everything clicks together nicely, I think we're good. But I think that's going to be the problem. So I'm going to call it there. Godspeed, good luck. Tomorrow we're going to be working on the Price of Freedom video, so no stream. If that gets done... You're missing the special white sauce. Yes, I am missing the special white sauce. Honestly, yes, that would be kind of the idea there. I'm missing the special white sauce to tie everything nicely together. But I think it'll work. But tomorrow we're going to be working on the Price of Freedom video. If that gets done early, which it may or may not, depending on a few different factors, we're going to start working on Emo Clore some more. I'm going to try to finish up Emo. My goal is to finish up Emo Clore this week, which may be another Sunday, Mega Sunday stream, depending on the situation. Tomorrow's going to be a little bit busy, so hopefully if I can stream at a good time, I will stream more Emo Clore. Generally speaking, looking at the situation, we have Price of Freedom on Tuesday, and then on Thursday we're going to be talking about Briars and Burrows, which is going to be me not really talking about Briars and Burrows. I'm going to be me more talking about how to make an animal RPG, which is completely unrelated to this entire conversation we had today, but instead was just something I had an idea about, because Briars and Burrows is not very good, in fact, because it's a PBTA game that doesn't really do anything interesting. So, thank you all for watching. Godspeed and good luck. You know the rest. I hope you all have a lovely rest of your day. Let me think. Is there anything else exciting that I can speak about? No.